Hello guys, my name is Alex Rodríguez and thank you for watching this. It's great having you here. How are things going? You have a great face today. And today in this video, I'm going to be making a budget for you so you can know how Cuba works, how Cuba is going to be costing you if you're coming in the budget, if you're coming with a middle range, or if you're coming with a lot of money. Today is an special one because I'm going to be making that as a local. So I'm not going to be lying to you. I'm not going to be telling you, no, this is going to be $5 and at the end it's going to be $10. I'm going to tell you everything you should know before I come in here. So if you want to help me, please subscribe to the channel and like this video so we can say to the YouTube algorithm, which sucks, that the video was good enough and I can grow and help more people. Thank you so much and let's dive into it. So let's start with the low budget. I will write down all the prices range and specifically divide in seasons. For example, low season and the high season. I'm gonna put right here the rental price, the money that you should bring for the food, and extra, right? There are too many things that you will be spending on. For example, accommodation and food. The rest will be making a separate budget. For example, the extra. That's why I put it right here how much you will be spending. But before, let me give you a quick tips about extra prices. The museums, these are normally between 3 and 10 CUC. If you don't know anything about the Cuban currencies, you can go and check this video right here. I'm going to be explaining to you guys all the things that you should know about it before coming to Cuba. The clubs, for example, between 5 and 70 bucks. You might be thinking, Alex, 70 bucks for a club. And yes, it really depends about where you're going. But for example, if you go to a concert or Tropicana, which is very, very expensive, and if you go to a concert of a famous Cuban musician, could be costing 20, 25 bucks, 50 bucks, 100 bucks, but I wouldn't go, I won't spend 100 bucks for a concert, but well, if you want to do it, that's okay. The drinks, for example, between 3 and 10 bucks. It really depends. For example, if you go to a private business or if you go to a government places. Normally, I would suggest you to go to the private business because the quality is going to be much better than the government ones. The food, between 7 and 30 bucks. Again, it really depends about the place that you're going, but this is the price range. And the tipping, I would suggest you to go to the I'm Currently podcast, which is an anchor.fm/I'm currently in. And right there we have a special episode where I was explaining you guys all the things that you should know before coming to Cuba about tipping. Now, for example, I would suggest you always bring in some extra cash for all those stuff and as well of emergency, because you don't know what's going to happen in Cuba during your trip, right? I gotta mention that the prices are a daily range per person, so you can calculate how many days can you spend here, accepting the extra one like souvenirs and those stuff that is completely up to you if you buy them or not. Sometimes you're not going to be spending that much, but it really is up to you. So the extra are going to be only for 7 days, right? Extra 7 days. The rest are going to be daily, all right? Now, I won't include the taxis or car rental here because the prices change too much. And I would suggest to you to book all this stuff, for example, the taxi, if you want to get a driver right here in Cuba in advance. Book this in advance because the prices, they do change too much, all right? Also, the quality is going to be better. For example, right now we're in the low budget, then we're gonna jump to the normal budget and then the high budget. And the extra is going to be changing even more because there are too many things that you want to be spending money on. And for example, like the artwork, which is expensive here in Cuba because in Cuba we have too many very good artists. So it really depends about if you want to buy some Cuban cigars and those stuff. So extra are the souvenir tipping, museum tours, all the tours. I didn't add right here the tours because I repeat, it really depends about where you want to go, all those stuff. So the tour is inside of the extra as well, but it really depends about your budget, how much you want to spend on it. So as a low budget, you won't be able to stay in hotels or any luxury things because they're quite expensive. That's why casas particulares is a great option for you. The same with the food. If you want to get cheaper drinks and food to go to private places, most of the government places, I repeat, are even expensive. So that's why I put this food range right here. So, season. In the low season, you are going to be spending $30 per day. In this case, the breakfast is going to be included. So I would suggest you to go and pay $30 bucks, because if you want to go out for getting breakfast, it's going to be quite expensive. So $5 per breakfast is good enough. So 30 in general. The food, you're going to be spending 20 bucks, and as an extra, I would suggest you to bring $200 to spend money in all this stuff and the tours and all the things that you want to be paying money. High season, I would suggest you to bring $40. Food is going to be the same, it's not going to change, and the extra in this case, I would suggest you to bring $300, right? Because in the extra, the tours are going to be a little bit more pricey, and for example, the drinks or the food, in that case, if you go to private business, they could be changed a little bit. If we do the math and we calculate right here, we're going to be getting $50 per day in low season. And if we do the math right here, we're going to be getting 60 bucks per day, right? So in low budget, total would be, in low season, okay, in total, if we put right here low season and right here high season, this is going to be the total. So we plus 300. Now, if you come in high season, you're gonna be paying 100 bucks plus 300. This is important, guys. This is important because you need to know how much money you're gonna be spending here in Cuba. As a middle range, there are some hotels or resorts that you can be in. and the prices of these are mostly over $150 per day or per night, plus the $40 in food in low season. So make sure they're coming with a middle range of $190 plus the $300 in low season. In high, this price could be over $230 per night plus the $40 food, depending on the hotels or resort they are in. So in this case, the high season, I would suggest you to bring $270 per day plus the $200. It's a little bit more, but you know, it's high season. Now, if we jumped right here into the high budget, we're gonna change this. Right now, if you're coming with the no limit budget, these are the best option for you. Cuba has private hostels with a price range between $200, $250 until $1,000 a night. And I know this is crazy, this is insane, but it's a real life. So these places are mostly only provides the breakfast. So bring other 100 CUC per day if you want to go to the restaurant. So let's jump right here. The rental is going to be minimum $250. The food is going to be $100 because if you come in with no limit, it's because you want to spend more money in good restaurants. And if you go to the very good restaurants, the minimum they're going to be spending is $100 per day. And the extra, like I said, for example, and it really depends. But if you come in with no limit, it's because you want to spend more money. So 60 Han opinion. So in high season, they could be $370 per night. The same with the food. And the extra is going to be exactly the same. In this case, you can decide, guys, about how much you want to be spending in Cuba, because if you're coming to Cuba with no limit of spends, in this case you can decide, guys, how much you want to spend, because if you're coming to Cuba with no limit, that's why I put right here the extra in the extra section, $600, because you're going to be buying luxury stuff like Cuban cigars, Cuban rums, Cuban artwork, the fancy and the picky one, because I know there are too many people who come here and they're super picky with the art. So this, I would say, this price range is good enough, right? With this price range, you can get very, very good stuff here in Cuba. Of course, there are always super luxury hotels, like for example the Kempinski one, which, for example, one room could be $500 a night or even more, but it's up to you. It's up to you. Remember that if you're confused about the Cuban currencies, you can check that video out and you're gonna understand how the Cuban currencies work here in Cuba. Actually, Cuba is about to change the Cuban currency system, but if that happens, I'm going to be making a video to explain you a little bit more about it. So to get more traveling tips, to know everything about it, subscribe to the channel, and please go to the anchor.f/I'm and right there you're gonna get all the tips about Cuba. And if you want to be in touch with me, you can go to the description below, and down is going to be my personal accounts. Now, if you want to be coached, if you want to have a guide right here in Cuba during your stay here, you can contact me by going to buymeacoffee.com/I'm-currently-in. Remember, guys, that all this content that I'm making for you is completely free. So if you want to support my channel with the price of a coffee cup, it's going to be super good for me. So it's going to be helping me to create more content, and I hope this video helps you a lot to understand how much you will be spending here in Cuba, how much is going to be costing your trip here in Cuba. Remember that all these prices are only per day and per person, right? And these are the prices that I know from my perspective, from my experience working as a tour guide. There are too many other options that we're gonna be, dive into in next videos. But it's up to you, always, it's up to you about how much money you want to spend. Right here you have the low budget, the normal budget, and the half budget. If you want to download this doc, you can go down there and the link is going to be there, so you can you can go and you can check this out. If you want to get more extra tips, please let me know in the comments below which tip would you like to get. What are the things that you would like to know more about? And the only thing that you can do right now is to comment to Cuba. There are too many people coming to Cuba. If you're American, don't worry, I'm gonna make a video specifically about the US travelers, how you can come, because you can come. All right, so Alex, can I go to Cuba right now? Yes. How? We're going to be talking about that in next videos. See you guys in the next one, and thank you so much for watching this. Have always a great tomorrow. Bye bye.